Okay, so we're going to start working with complex numbers today. I is defined as the square root of a negative 1. Now, there's nothing to understand. I had students go, I don't get it, I don't get it. There's nothing to understand. Somebody decided to call the grass green. Somebody decided to call the square root of negative 1 I. I don't know why. It just helps in our calculations. So you either embrace that fact, pass the quiz, fight it, and fail, I guess. Sorry. So therefore, if we take I squared, we would be taking the square root of negative 1 squared. Those are inverses of each other, canceling each other out, leaving you with a negative 1. So I squared is equal to negative 1. Now, yesterday we had this for f, x squared minus 6x plus 13. When we did it, we had to take the square root of a negative number, and we said it's not possible. Well, that is no longer a viable answer. You could take the square root of everything. So let's go ahead and do the quadratic. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And a negative, it's the opposite of b, so that's why it's a positive 6. And since you're squaring it, it doesn't matter. I never read a negative there. So according to the order of operations, you do your multiplication first. So 6 times 6 is 36. I'm going to write the minus sign down so I don't use it again. 4 times 1 times 13 is 52. And 2 times 1 is 2. All right, so we had 6 plus or minus, whoops. There we go. Square root of 36 minus 52, which is a negative 16, all over 2. Was it over 2? Yeah, 2a. Now what we can do with the negative 16 is we could break that into the square root of 16 times the square root of a negative 1. Because radicals are just like exponents and multiplication, so you can break it up, factor it. So then I end up with the square root of 16 is 4. And the square root of a negative 1 is I over 2. These are not like terms, so you will not be adding them together to get 10. And when we divide by 2, we divide everything. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, plus or minus. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I get 3 plus or minus 2i. So if we multiply this out, now if this is the answer, that means it's a root, it's a 0. And to write the factor, you always write x minus your root. So x minus 3 plus 2i. And your other factor would be x minus 3 minus 2i. Okay, so remember from way back when, if the factor's 5, it's x minus 5, so same thing. Now if I multiply this out, I should get what I started with. I have 3 terms here, 3 terms here, so when I multiply it out, I will end up with 9 terms across. So I will multiply everything in the second factor by x. I will get x squared minus 3x minus 2i. X. And then I will multiply everything in the second factor by a negative 3, so I would get negative 3x, positive 9, and positive 6i. And then I would multiply everything in the second factor by 2i. So I would end up with a positive 2ix and a negative 6i and a negative 4i squared. All right, and then, might run out of room here. We need to combine like terms. So cross them off as I get them done. X squared, there's only the one x squared. X's, I've got minus 3x, minus 3x. So that's a minus 6x. Ix, I got a minus 2ix and a plus 2ix, so that's 0. I have a plus 9. I have a plus 6i minus 6i, so that's 0. And then I have a minus 4i squared. All right, so I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 4 times a negative 1, because I squared is a negative 1. So I have x squared minus 6x. I have a positive 9. Negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. 9 plus 4 is 13.